Welcome back to the channel, folks. I just got off an interesting phone call with an insider in the financial markets, a financial advisor, so to speak. And he provided me with an urgent warning to share with all who care to listen, all who are interested, all the viewers and subscribers who continuously return to this channel for the facts, the news, the information, and most importantly, the truth. Folks, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. My name is Kevin, K-E-V-A in it, all caps. YouTube.com/@Kevin247, Kevin Prepper. And this video today is brought to you by the free links in the description down below. Go check them out. Get your free stocks. Diversify your portfolio. I diversify. I continue to diversify. Diversity, security, and cash flow is huge. And if you're not securing your assets and taking advantage of opportunities to invest in physical hard assets and gold, folks, please check out the free links in the description down below. Now, urgent breaking warning for all these people, particularly those who are more than likely considered low income, middle class, working poor, the vast majority of American population that fall into the category of having no assets. So what would constitute as assets? Assets for sure are going to be cash money. Cash is king, folks. Cold, hard cash, money in the bank, net worth, positive net worth, savings, investments, CDs, certificates of deposits, stocks. These are assets, okay? Depending on the stock valuation, those are considered assets. Physical gold, silver, other precious metal, those can be assets. Vehicles, those can be assets, depending on who you ask, and you know how much equity you have in the vehicle could be considered an asset. Business ownership and equity stakes in business can be assets. Real estate, for sure, real property. Those are assets. Those are some of the best wealth building assets around. Don't let anybody tell you any different. I don't care what channel you watch. I don't care what flashy titles and thumbnails they create or what email blast they send out. Investing in real estate it's one of the best ways to build wealth, and those are some of the best assets that I would prefer to have. And it makes a whole lot of sense because the financial advisor that I was speaking with we were having a discussion about the potential future of the dollar and the American people and folks around the entire world. As I know, I have viewership from not only the United States of America, but also the UK, Ireland, Australia, and now recognizing that I have even viewers from South Africa. Welcome everyone to the channel. You're all welcome here. Please drop a comment. And please allow me some time to provide and pull together information to bring you guys updates on what matters to you most. Because at the end of the day, we have to realize that one, we are a collective unified front and force, and that we are all interconnected. But at the same time, what one person may experience where they live may have already been experienced somewhere else or is likely to occur. And these are all ways that we can understand and identify the key indicators and the warning signs and do what we need to do, which is, most importantly, prepare. So remember, folks, more of the same. My predictions for 2023 were more of the same, and we are experiencing that, and it's only the middle of February for the most part, 3/4 of the way through February, approaching March. And we're experiencing more of the same, and I'm going to continue and hold firmly on my commitment to you guys of sharing diversity, security, and cash flow ideas, strategies, tips, helpful information, links in the description. Go check them out. But for the folks with no assets, the financial advisor was sharing with me some concerning information, and this is being pushed by the Fed as well, okay? The Fed, central banks, and ultimately the Great Reset, which, folks, we got a lot of forces working against us, but we have to realize that when it comes down to it, if, let's just say, for instance, the FDIC does execute on their banking collapse that they say will happen on a Friday. If you haven't seen the FDIC 3-hour-long meeting the live stream with leaked information from the meeting about when the banks collapse, which they are basically insolvent and have liquidity crisis issues, without the support of FDIC to cover the amounts of the accounts balances that would likely fall into the largest banking bail-in in history. No bailouts, the bail-in, by utilizing deposits from you and I, hardworking people who have put their money in the banks and have trusted these banks, although we probably shouldn't. The FDIC has already announced that this collapse, this banking closure would happen on a Friday, and then they would instruct people not to use money. And then ultimately we have the Fed pushing for central bank digital currency, Cbdc, switch over, change over, roll over. And as we approach this great reset pushed by the World Economic Forum, the WEF elites, and all the signs these folks are against the decentralized cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, BTC, Ripple, XRP. They're trying to control this change, this shift. And if you watch my video on Cbdc about what happened just here recently in Nigeria, in Africa, I mean, it's pretty clear and pretty obvious what we could likely expect to see here on a wider, greater scale in the United States of America. But if we come to a point where the banking system collapses, the dollar crashes, we move to a digital dollar, we move to central bank digital currency, and there's a massive bank bail-in where people just basically lose their wealth, odds are the wealth will be lost in banks and credit unions. Despite FDIC, despite NCUA, the loss would occur in banks and credit unions. There would be a credit crunch, so credit worthiness and credit limits and credit lines and credit availability would literally probably be slashed overnight. They probably have a red button that they will just push, and it'll just shut down credit. And basically, the FDIC says we'll just tell people not to use money. So what does that mean? That means you got to have diversity. That means you got to have security, and you got to have cash flow. So with that being said, I'm sharing more information for anybody who's interested. Come join me. Links in the description. Come join the network, because I'm developing and devising a plan to make this as accessible for almost everybody as I possibly can. As someone actually left a comment that I don't think that they were really thinking clearly about what they were saying when they left the comment. And they said that, Kevin, you talk about this robotically, and you sound so nonchalant when you tell people just make more money, earn more money, and pay off their debts and get out of debt and save and invest. And I think they misunderstand the message that I'm trying to bring to you. And yeah, I'm going to tell you to make more money. I'm going to tell you to spend less than you make. I'm going to tell you to budget and eliminate high interest debt. And I'm going to tell you to save and invest. I'm going to tell you that all day long, twice on Sunday, okay? 24/7, 365, all right? Why? Because you need to have that instilled in your mind and in your brain and in your being. You need to wake up every day, you need to go to sleep every night thinking to yourself, you know what? I can make more money. I can and I will increase my income, and I can execute on that, versus me telling you the opposite, okay? I'm trying to motivate, I'm trying to encourage, and I'm trying to educate folks, okay? So don't attack me for creating these videos and sharing this information with you. Perhaps maybe you need to step back and look back and say, you know what? I've been surrounded my entire life by people who's either never encouraged me or told me I couldn't do something. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, the only thing that I can't do is I can't give up. That's the only thing I can't do, okay? So I'm going to continuously tell you guys what I want to tell you, and what I want to tell you is earn more money, spend less than you make, budget wisely, eliminate debt, save and invest, because it's going to work out for you better than not, okay? So I want to share with you diversity, security, and cash flow, because if the banks collapse, if they shut down on a Friday and the FDIC says don't use money, I want diversity. And that diversity can come in the form of precious metals, gold, silver. Like I said, links in the description. That diversity can come in the form of other assets. And this is why it's so important for the people who don't have assets, because if we come to a point in time where the banks collapse and FDIC fails and they say don't use money, then you're going to have to rely on your other assets. You're going to have to rely on that diversity, okay? And then the security's got to be in place, and we can talk about security in a variety of ways, but security is going to come down in two forms of protecting you and protecting your assets and your family, of course, but that falls into the first one of protecting you. Your family goes without saying. And then lastly, cash flow, so we can continuously keep this ball rolling with whatever new form of currency or digital currency or CBDC or digital dollar or token or stable coin or whatever they pump out. We can continuously keep this ball rolling by way of cash flow. And in my opinion, when the banks collapse, if the banks collapse, if it happens on a Friday, whatever day it may be, yeah, sure, FDIC is there. Yeah, sure, FDIC does have some reserve, but odds are it won't be enough to cover everybody. Some will probably get restored. Most probably won't. And anybody out there who exceeds the $250,000, $250,000 insurance maximum by FDIC per account holder, you need to really consider the diversity of your portfolio instead of holding it in cash in the bank. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, if the banks collapse, if they tell you don't use money, if the dollar disappears, if it loses its power based on a lot of influence by the Fed pushing for this to happen, which is asinine if you ask me, and you got the BRICS system and so many other outside forces looking to replace the dollar as the world's currency, the world reserve currency, then I want to have assets. Why? Because when you have assets, like I would rather have assets instead of cash. Because if the banks collapse and cash is worthless, I still have my assets. So when there's a new form, a medium of exchange, there's a new currency introduced that replaces the dollar, that'll just revalue and recalculate my assets in that new form. Versus I've lost all my cash. I'm now down to zero and I have no assets. I have nothing to leverage. I have no ground to stand on, no leg to stand on, nothing to exchange and trade or put to use for cash flow. I can always put somebody in a property as a renter and generate that cash flow from that asset. So if you have assets, and this is another warning from the financial advisor, was don't sell them. Do not fall victim to the trap and fall into these clickbaity titles and thumbnails and misleading information titles and disinformation titles of fire sale, sell everything because everything's crashed and you need to boost your liquidity. No, I would keep my assets. I would hold on to them, and whether they appreciate or depreciate, I would venture to say odds are if you got a good position, odds are they're probably going to appreciate just based on a variety of factors. And we can go into that in a future video if you guys want. Just comment down below and let me know. But I would hold on to my assets. I would maintain my position. I would continuously work to increase my diversity and increase my security and continuously work to increase my cash flow position just in case. Okay, there's no guarantee any of this will happen, but odds are we are looking more like 60-40. You guys can understand the writing is on the wall. I wanted to share this information with you. They wanted me to share this information with you, or he wanted me to share this information with you. I hope this is received well. If you've got any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below. And I look forward to catching up with you guys in the network. Link in the description. Until next time, you guys take care, be safe. I'll see you real soon. Bye.